G'day, my name is Jared Press and I'm the Assistant Principal of Formation and Identity here at Mt Maria College Petrie, which is located in the north of Brisbane. And it is my great pleasure to be your Mt Marist for this episode of Christlife. I first got involved with the Marists in 2018 after my wife and I moved from Rockhampton. There is not a Marist school in the town of Rockhampton itself. There's a couple in the diocese, but I personally hadn't really had any involvement with them at all. It is something that I'd heard of, and I'd heard some pretty good things about them, but nothing of real substance. So I was a little bit apprehensive to go in and check them out and to see what they were about. But I was really taken back by the charism and by what it offered for staff as well and for students. I've been working a lot with youth ministry before I got to Trinity, and seeing the Raymar program and other things that they offered, retreats for our young people and staff, I thought, hey, you know what, this charism is moving in a good direction. So it was something that I was very proud and very quick to invest my own time and my own spiritual development in as well. Being Marist today, it's a great question, and it's probably a question that I've really been pondering for the last couple of years. As I started to transition away from just looking at the Marist charism around the school, when I started to look at my own personal life and how I was living out the charism, I did start to tackle the question, when do I become Marist? At what point do I say I'm Marist? And I was joking around with a couple of people at the biennial conference as to at what point do I get called a Marist. We had some great banter over some ceremonies and different levels that I would have to attain and things like that, but I think the really simple answer is when those three violets are permeating in my life. When we take those violets, we make them part of our life. We are, I think, being the people that God calls us to be. When we have humility, simplicity and modesty in our relationship with others outside of the school, in our relationship with our partners or our family, when we have that relationship with God, I think that we are being a great version of what a Catholic or a Christian is called to be. So being a Marist, for me, the school setting's a wonderful place to talk about the charism, but I need to make sure that I'm developing it personally in my own spiritual life as well. The Marian way of being Marist I found quite challenging at the start, but it has certainly enriched my life. I grew up in a home that really prioritised the image of the sacrificial Jesus and the all-loving God, and there wasn't much room left for Mary with both those two enormous figures playing out in our spiritual life. So probably for the first year or maybe even a year and a half of being at a Marist school, I really struggled to wrap my head around Marian way of being, but I looked at all these people and I thought, I'm missing something. And I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was, but I knew that they had something that I wanted as well. And I also knew that a lot of them were Marian in their way of being. So for me, I made a conscious decision at some point to go, you know what, I need to invest in this and I need to find out what's going on in this space. At Footsteps, I heard a great question that really, really has stayed with me, and I think about it often, especially if ever I'm to reflect on Mary or to come up with some sort of initiative for a school about Mary or something like that. And the question is, what does Mary want for her son today? And it's something that I had never really thought about. I had only ever thought about Mary in the Bible, the historical Mary. It's not something that I thought, you know what, Mary is up in heaven wanting for her Jesus today. And once I thought about that question and brought that into my life, I really started to develop an understanding of the personal Mary, who she is and and what her needs are for her church today. I recently started here at Mt Maria Petrie. I'm actually only about 10 weeks in, and it was my principal who said to me very early on and tasked me very early on with getting the association back up and running. I think after COVID, it never really found its feet again. So she's tasked me with that, and she's pretty much given me a blank canvas to work with as well, which I really appreciate, her trust and her commitment to getting the association up and running. But I do find it an important opportunity for staff. I think if we're genuine in our mission to be Marist, and if we're genuine in our mission to share Jesus in a Marian way with our young people, then we need to be genuine in our approach to developing our own spirituality. So it's something that I want to see grow beyond the school setting. We have a primary school next door. We have 2 primary schools in our area, and I'd love to be bringing their staff into the association at some point in the future as well, to show that it's not just an association for staff members. It is, and also I'd like to grow it so that people can invite in their friends also. It's not just something that has to belong to teachers, it's something that can go beyond teachers, and it's something that if we really think that the association has a lot to offer, well, we need to be very genuine in how we share that with people as well. It must simply be said that we are a charism founded in family spirit. And I think that the association is one of those ways that we develop our sense of family spirit as staff at the school. It's an opportunity for us to put aside things like job titles or things like relationships that we might have as teachers. It's time for us to put those aside and to enter into a family relationship, a relationship of brother and sister, or a relationship of fraternity, where we are not job titles, or we are not teachers, but we are simply people on a mission to live out the call of the gospel. I'm very fortunate to have a wife that likes many of the same things that I do. We both like to work hard during the week, and we both like to relax hard on the weekend, which I must admit does involve locking the front door and turning on Netflix a lot of the time and just chilling out at home. But we have a lovely little dash hound that we have to leave at home during the week, so we make sure that on the weekend she gets a fair bit of our time. For the energy that I do keep in reserve, I like to make sure that I'm connecting with my friends and either going out for a meal or hosting people at home. I love providing hospitality to others and welcoming people into the home. And if there's a little bit of time left, you'll probably find me reading or watching something to do with World War II history that I thoroughly enjoyed learning about. Thank you for listening, and I hope that in the future we can connect at some sort of Marist event, whether it be a retreat or at a conference. Come say good day. I'd love to meet you. Thank you.